Welcome back to Lorehammer. My name is Eric.
Hey, and I'm Mark.
And joining us today are James.
Hello.
Jimothy.
Yes, Jimothy as the laymen know him. And also Rio.
Or Demetrio, as the laymen also know.
Dimitri. Sorry, my phone is not on silent. There we go.
Unprofessional.
I always scream at everyone else to put theirs on silent, but this time I was the
How the turntables have tabled.
turning
The
of the tide. Yeah, welcome to Lorehammer. Today's episode is episode 83, and it's going to be all about Phoenix Lords.
It's gonna be so good. I love it. I sound sarcastic.
Yeah, no. I know you're being genuine.
I'm super genuine. Even that sounds sarcastic. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, a little aside. Peter, who has been on our show many times before, but hasn't been on in a long time. I know him for a very long time, and I literally, if I'm being genuine with him, I have to type "this is genuine" because we just only speak in sarcasm to each other.
Yeah.
So we're like, "Oh, did you get this book for Christmas?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's great." Okay, I'm being serious. I actually really liked it.
I like chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that's welcome to our generation. We only know how to communicate through sarcasm.
Yeah, you want to bottle true emotions and stuff that can hurt you deep down.
Well, yeah, because then you can't be hurt.
Exactly. And that's what you want. So we're going to teach you how not to get hurt today.
Today's our 4-step plan on how to become an emotional shell of your former self.
What's step one?
Invest into Warhammer.
That's right.
First of all, you want to basically be a recluse.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, James, you're much closer to the end than you think.
I might have done it. I might have done like a cycle. I might be on round 2.
Well, before we actually get into the episode itself, there's a couple things we want to highlight. First of all, if you're listening to us, you're on Spotify, which is awesome. But if you don't know, you can follow Lorehammer, the podcast, on Spotify itself, and then you'll get automatic updates when it comes time to a new episode.
Yeah, which is nice because we have a super sporadic schedule, so it's bi-weekly. It's hard to keep.
It's tough sometimes.
Yeah, so you want all the help you can get.
Another thing, if you don't know, it is possible to download Spotify episodes. I'm not going to explain how to do it because I don't remember how to do it.
I think it's literally just a download error.
But yeah, I saw
simple.
someone saying oh, you can't even download the episodes, but you totally can. So,
suck it.
Yeah.
Phil from Toronto.
I don't know. Yeah, Phil.
It's a Phil with 3 PHs.
Phil.
PhD.
Is that a pretty huge dick?
No.
Phil with 3 PHs and a pretty huge dick.
Okay. Also, check out a Patreon. Help support the show. If you want to watch a video version, it's nice. We usually got a little kitten running around.
Yeah, we don't have Small Cat today.
I can make it happen.
No, don't worry about it. We'll make sure we get it next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could just add them in digitally.
Yeah. We'll put it in post.
Okay.
We have great CG team at Lorehammer.
Yeah.
CG team, it's like a cutout that you literally put a picture of a cat.
What I do is I take the video and I put it on a computer, and then I take my phone and I record that video, and I take the little cat cutout and I put it in front of the laptop.
Yeah.
That's how we add things in post.
Yeah, so if you want to see that, join our Patreon. We also sell merch on Redbubble if you're looking for hoodies, t-shirts, whatever. And
yes, but it is possible that in the future we are going to completely change that. We've been chatting with a couple people and exploring a couple different options.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for some more merchandising opportunities in the future.
Yeah. Do you want things?
Do you want Lorehammer things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like dice?
Do you like shirts? And
What about pocket knives?
I love blankets.
Is the blanket just a picture of your face?
It's my
Licking
face
your
going
lips?
like
With the
this.
mouth open or something.
People would buy that. I guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
Only to troll the person they bought it for. Here's a picture of Eric with a hole in his mouth.
Yeah, that's nice.
And what's that sticking out of it?
Ah!
Anyways, We have other ways to do it. We have a bunch of social platforms for you to engage with us on.
Yeah, check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I think we're even on there. Do you ever touch that thing? We touch it all the
Yeah, of
time.
course
It's
I
very
touch-
active, highly active. Go check out Twitter.
I love touching Twitter.
Okay. And
It's my
finally,
third favorite thing to touch.
the first two.
That's for a different episode.
Okay. And last but not least, before we start the episode, go check out our Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's like a online chat room,
It's
essentially.
like a voice platform where
text platform.
Yeah, exactly. It's a community.
Yeah.
There.
But what's really nice is we have weekly events going on there. So we have, just people play video games or people just hang out, talk. We had a Christmas party online there. So
Lots of hobby time where you get to
Yeah.
share what it is you're modeling
Yeah.
and working on. So it's
So
very
go
cool.
check out our Discord. And also go check out Lorehammer Let's Talk, where you can keep up to date on kind of what's happening on our Discord. It's another podcast, so.
Yeah. And you get to meet a lot of the people that are actually a part of our community.
And you could even be on that show, too.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
Whoa.
Do you like podcasts?
Whoa.
Do you want to be on a podcast? Do
Tell
you
me
wanna-
how.
First of all, tell your mom to shove it.
Oh, already did it.
Now that you're a podcaster,
Wow.
you get...
Wait, I never did that. I skipped that stuff.
Oh.
Well, it also counts if she tells you to shove it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Either way.
That's very often.
Okay, Phoenix Lords, are we ready for this awesome episode?
I
It's
am
gonna
super
be
stoked.
A banger.
Yes.
You're stoked? Me too.
I'm having a stroke, apparently. So, okay, let's start. Well, there's only one place to... There's only... I forgot how to talk.
It is a stroke.
Yeah.
Should I
It's a
call
little hot in
911?
here. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm okay.
Yeah, so our Patreon members, if you see this, is Eric actually having a stroke?
I don't know.
It's not
burnt
toast you're
Read the
smelling.
signs.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It smells like raspberry jam.
Okay.
The
Take
first
us
thing
away, Eric.
the first thing we're going to talk about with Phoenix Lords is the kind of the history or the origins of
Or
where
the
this-
beginnings, even. Or the start.
Yeah.
Commencement?
Damn it.
Origin?
Nope,
I
that
said
was
that.
yours.
Yeah,
Damn
you're
it,
out of the game. You're out.
You lose. Fucking idiot.
Yeah. What a loser. Why is he even here?
So let's start.
Okay. So the history. So the Phoenix Lords are amongst the most ancient and renowned heroes of the entire Eldar race. Most of the Phoenix Lords are even as old as the fall of the Eldar. So that's at least 10,000 years old.
Running around the galaxy, doing things. What do you
Being
think?
heroes.
Being heroes.
Yeah.
And ancient, I guess.
The very, very first Phoenix Lord was a Surman, and it was he who first walked the path of the warrior. Whether he created it or, found it, discovered it, I guess that's kind of up to your own interpretation. But he was the first warrior. And the path of the warrior tempered the Eldars as warriors to ensure their survival as a race. But it also tempered their minds and offered them an outlet for their rage and anger for those that walked it. There's no real place for anger and rage in other areas of Eldar society other than on this path. So a very angry person would just have trouble on every other path until they learn to walk with that rage down this path.
And temper it.
And
Except for the angry potters. In the
That's right.
The way of the craftsman.
Yeah.
yes, well, you got to slap it a little hard sometimes when you're pottering, Yeah. What was I? I was gonna say something real before that, but whatever.
Happy to derail.
Yeah. So Asurmin gathered many great warriors who he called the Asuria, and each one of these warriors would go on to found their own aspect warrior shrines across many different craft worlds. If you want more info on aspect warriors, you can listen to episodes 46 and 47, where we specifically lay out the Eldari path of the warrior.
Yeah, we talk about every aspect, their techniques, their war gear, all that kind of cool stuff.
Yes. So these Asuria became the very, very first exarchs of the Phoenix Lord. And then now, since they're lost on the path, and they've founded many of their own shrines, and they still have no place to call their own now.
Yeah.
So they have no home.
Yeah, they went out and they founded a bunch of shrines all over different craft worlds and stuff, but they never stayed in one place for long. Even now, they don't stay in one place for long.
Well, what's long for an Eldar? That's
Well,
10,000.
for these ones, it's like for a battle.
Yeah.
And then
they
they're
show
just
up on the eve of the
deuces.
battle.
They
Yeah.
maybe stay around to the shrine for a little bit to like congratulate
just
everyone.
to,
and
check
shake
up on
some
the
hands.
groupies.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys remember who the fuck I am?
Wow.
And then they peace out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's nice for them.
Yeah. So these guys, the Phoenix Lords, they wander from world to world, instinctively driven by war, attracted by intuitive powers to places of great danger and need. During moments of desperation, they appear, sometimes alone, but often several together, depending on the need, depending on the perils faced.
So is there like a bat signal going on here?
No, they just know the perfect time to strike.
Oh yes, of course. Of course, after all, they were the creators of that. Of course. Of course.
They taught everyone the perfect time to strike.
Yeah.
Wow, this Asurman guy, he really knew. And he's apparently really good at teaching it because
He's
everyone.
not very creative though with his names. Like Saruman isn't his actual name. Then we got their Suriati. Then we got their Suri, and
So an interesting thing about the Asurmin and Asuria and the Suriata that you mentioned is Asurmin, I think that's his name, was the most powerful of the Eldar gods, or
Yeah.
Asuran or something.
yeah, I had a Y in there. They spelled it a little different.
Asurian?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I know how to spell it.
Asurian. Okay, his name was Asurian. Anyways, so Asurman took that name because he wanted to be the hand of Asurian.
Yeah.
And so then he made his Asuria.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's more of a fighter than a thinker. That guy.
Yeah, but thank goodness he's a fighter because goddamn, he is a good one. And that's kind of like a very simplistic history of it. There's actually not a lot that is written about the founding of the Phoenix Lords themselves, especially because it would have happened around M26 to 30 at some point in there. Anytime after the fall of the Eldar, to probably M30, which is when the Great Crusade happens, because then we have examples of aspect warriors. So
Yeah, and even some of these characters even older than that. Yeah, they're crazy.
So this guy's still around then?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
There's a very cool reason as to why they are still around, which we will get into actually I think very soon.
Yeah.
In fact, Rio, would you like to read the next? Oh, you know what? I missed one more point.
Okay.
Eldar legend says that in the final battle against Chaos, all the Phoenix Lords will gather together and appear to defend the Eldar race.
Dun, 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 dun,
Does it
dun,
say
dun,
who will
Dun,
win?
dun, dun. No.
we do know that we'll get to the legend later. We have a whole big thing on it.
The legend of
Zeld.
Asumani.
Sorry.
The legend of Assman.
Build me an army worthy of Aletok.
Yes, that's nice.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about some of the more generic powers and abilities that the Phoenix Lords have.
Yeah. So the Phoenix are great warriors, each one focusing on a specific aspect of the elder god of war, Cain. And some may rely on brute strength and others cunning, but all of them walk the same path, the path of the warrior. And being as ancient as the Phoenix Lords are...
Sorry, your mic was not in the right place.
Oh, that's okay. My bad. So being as ancient as the Phoenix Lords are, it has many benefits. There are few war zones in the galaxy that will catch them off guard, having themselves seen thousands of battles in their time. Master tacticians, martial masters, and leaders beyond comparison, the Phoenix Lords are truly a force to be reckoned with, and even one can turn the tide of a war zone. Oh, sorry. Even one can turn the tide of a war zone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just not only are they a massive symbol of hope and like victory in the sky or however they appear, they're also just amazing warriors.
Yeah, like they're quicker than anything. They can think faster than you. Like really, man. If they ever did, like some people want Primarchs equivalents for everyone, these would be the Eldar Primarchs. Like they're
absolutely.
they're that level of good.
Yes, and
But are they taller?
No, unfortunately.
it depends on the size of the hat that
Oh,
they
big
choose
cone.
to wear at
Big
the time.
cones. I
Big
get it. Nice.
Yeah, and they're essentially immortal. Yeah, which is crazy. So when a Phoenix Lord is slain in battle, his place is taken by another Eldar who assumes his costume and identity. A Phoenix Lord's essence will lie dormant inside their armor until it is donned by another Eldar warrior whose soul resonates. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the armor has to kind of accept the person?
Yes, it can't just be anyone. Yeah.
Okay.
You get in, start vibrating.
You gotta, yeah, it's got to be
Shakes
the
you
same frequency.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So should they prove worthy enough to combine souls, the Phoenix Lord will be reborn in a new body. In this way, the Phoenix Lord is reborn into a fresh cycle of existence. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and like they'll even like take over their host's body like completely, like they start to look like their original self and stuff.
No matter what body goes in to
Yeah.
that armor, like when the next time they like show their face, it's the original
Oh, wow.
person.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very cool. But there's a scene in one of the books, The Path of the Warrior, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's Path of the Warrior. I read all three together, so sometimes I get a little confused about what's in what. But there is a Phoenix Lord that gets slain, and it's said that there's just blackness leaking out of the armor, and it's like a void. Like it's blacker than anything you've ever like seen, and it just draws like energy and light into it, and then it just like overtook this one guy, and then he ended up being acceptable, replacement, and then just that person's identity gets joined into
Wait, so it like sucked him in?
well, he had to like put it on.
Oh, I see, I
But
see.
he like I don't think it was very willing on his part. It kind of felt like a compel
Okay.
to it, because the Phoenix Lord wants to live. Like their desire for life just burns. Like it's one of the things that just keeps them alive is just the strength of their own will.
Wow.
These are like true heroes and like ancient people. It's very cool. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, so his suit includes a spirit stone, which contains the spirits of all the Eldar who have become that Phoenix Lord. Okay, so it kind of merges all the people. It's kind of
Exactly. Yeah. You get placed into this spirit stone as well.
crazy.
Which is cool because then like you once again have all your ancestors or all your in this case it would just be random
The
people.
previous incarnation.
Yeah. So you have all their experience, who they themselves are probably great heroes who spent decades tracking down your armor in the first place.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So no matter how many different individuals a Phoenix Lord may have been, his mind is forever the same, driven by the dormant personality of the first and greatest warrior to wear the suit.
Yeah, so it's always, even though you're joined into the suit, like you become the Phoenix Lord, and the Phoenix Lord is the presence in the suit. So you're definitely like ascending to something greater than a regular Eldar. You can't, I don't think you can exist with that many people for that long and not be changed. But it's very cool that like that one original identity is still like the driving force.
I wonder how willful of a guy would have to, like if another Phoenix Lord put on another Phoenix Lord's armor.
Do not
like,
tempt the Phoenix Lord! Do not do it!
Like I wonder if there's ever going to be a power or a strong enough willed person to ever like take over. Who knows? Probably not.
I'm going to write a story.
Yeah.
It's an
About
interesting
it.
thought, though.
A Phoenix Lord.
Yo, dog.
And
We heard you liked Phoenix Lords. But yeah, they truly
Stacking.
are immortal. And I think there's something about how their armor actually like repairs over time. So it's actually next to impossible to actually kill these things. And this armor can lie dormant for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
And then as long as someone who is acceptable puts on that armor, it will awaken and the new Phoenix Lord will come back.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I really like the whole idea with the Eldar that if they need something, it will appear for them. Almost like they're striking some kind of balance in like the universe, or definitely like within their craft world as a whole. But in the Path of the Warrior, there's a story of this guy who he was part of this striking scorpion shrine, and he just felt like he didn't belong there anymore. So he just wandered through the craft world until he just randomly out of nowhere found this brand new shrine for himself. And in there was just Exarch armor that was waiting for him to put on.
Okay.
And then as soon as he became an Exarch, students started like coming and filtering in. And it's just the idea that there is something in the Eldar race that if you need it, it will happen.
Sure.
And
If you
so
build it, they will come.
Right, yeah,
Sure.
But I like to think that you can kind of put that into all Eldar aspects. So maybe like a Phoenix Lord's armor disappears for 8,000 years, but there's a crucial moment where it like needed to be, and for that moment, like it's been slowly working its way across the galaxy until it finally gets to that place in the perfect time to strike.
Yeah, I like how you worked it in.
But I really like that theme that kind of runs through Eldar. It lends like a mysticism to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Is someone's phone ringing?
I'm humming.
Sorry.
It's all good.
It was on silent. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. Yeah, I was just like, "What's this buzz? Is this computer gonna explode?" I was gonna shield my face.
All right. To understand the ideology of the Phoenix Lords, one must first understand the fall of the Eldar and the god of war. Cain. Cain! We have talked many times about the fall, and I say we, I mean you guys.
That's
have
right.
talked.
Lorehammer.
Yeah, we as Lorehammer.
Oh my
The
God,
royal
we of course.
The royal we.
James is Lorehammer.
I am Lorehammer now.
Don't tell Christian; he'll be pissed. He thinks it's him.
That's Christian is me. We are one.
I told, get out of here. I said, Christian, get out.
Get out of here. Anyway, we talked many times about the fall and its effects on the Eldar civilization. Probably the most profound of these changes was the creation of the path system. The path system allows each Eldar to live with restrictions while allowing them to experience the galaxy and life. Refer back to episode 34 if you want to know more.
Yeah, we talk a lot about.
Would you like to know
about
more?
all the different paths?
Yeah.
So we
How
talk.
you join a path, how you leave a path.
Yeah.
What is a path? How many paths are there?
I think we talked about dirt paths. I think I
we
was on
did
that one.
and trails. so,
Branches even.
so I
Yes.
was right to put we then.
I was Perfect. So the other place that the Phoenix Lords draw their beliefs from is the elder god of war, Kala Mensha, Cain, the bloody-handed. The warrior aspects followed by the Eldar aspect warriors embody the different aspects or facets of Cain. Each aspect warrior type closely follows a particular aspect through long training and dedication, and each fulfills a distinctive role in combat.
Yeah, as many ways as there are to wage war, there are that many aspects.
Yeah.
For Eldar. So and I think we talked about it before, how you could technically have an infinite number of aspects.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because it all just comes down to how do you want to worship Cain, or maybe worship's the wrong word, but
You could even be like,
how do you want to embody Cain?
Yeah.
you could even have the aspect of tap dancing to distract your opponent and then throwing like sand in their eyes. That could be an aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
It's a more controversial one, but
I'll allow it though.
I'll allow it. Yep.
If
It's
Mark
canon.
allows it,
It's
it's
canon.
allowed.
Yeah. I've
So-
had dirt thrown in my eyes before. It's
In your arm?
in my arm and wood,
No!
everywhere. I've been covered in dirt.
My arm!
It was an act of war, is all I'm saying.
So I murdered them.
Yeah.
Their body is buried in the backyard.
Under that dirt they threw on me.
It's full circle. Anyway, since the Phoenix Lords were the creators of the shrines and their aspect warriors, the beliefs held by each individual lord may vary, but all ultimately of them are warriors, each one lost on the path for thousands of years, never able to leave it.
Yeah.
boom, boom.
If you thought Exarchs were lost on the path, these guys are like uber lost on the path.
They're lost and they like it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They find no more pleasure than being lost on the path.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm always curious, like, I wonder if these Phoenix Lords, when they created the shrines, if they adopted an aspect that was, like, dear to them, like, I wonder, or if, like, Cain had any saying, kind of.
I think it was more of, like, I like to see that it comes from meditation and, like, how they choose to, like, how they feel about it, because also maybe your physical limitations. If you are a small, scrawny Eldar, but you want to be the beefiest guy out there, well, there's just some physical limitations you might not be able to surpass, right? So you have to find a way that you can, like, perform your warfare that's, like, suitable for you.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine Kane actually being too involved because
No.
he's not like
No, he doesn't really care, I don't think.
yeah, he's also just not like in one piece anymore, right? So he's kind of just a fragment.
I wonder if like a Saruman had any influence or sway, like, we need these guys.
That one I wouldn't be surprised at. I wouldn't be surprised if he sees one of his students and he's like, wow, you're particularly graceful, so why don't you try this?
Actually, yeah, that would exactly be it.
Yeah, he's the master
yeah.
and they're the student,
Yeah.
right? So
A good master knows his students.
inside and
Yeah.
out.
Yes, as Sun Tzu said.
Yeah, and
Know your student inside and out.
Don't like that.
Don't like that.
That's a Catholic catechism, isn't it?
since the Phoenix Lords were the creators of the shrines, you read that one, right? Cool, perfect.
Yeah, I think that's it for like their kind of follows their ideology. We
Yeah.
are going to talk about the individual Phoenix Lords themselves.
Yeah, and then more will be understood.
Absolutely.
All will be revealed shortly.
So the Phoenix Lords, they're kind of interesting because since they're so old,
And rare.
and rare, and yeah, you don't see them often. Might be thousands of years between sightings of one. They sometimes seem to fall under like the mythology category. Like, is this story actually true or is it fact? Like, did they actually fly into the sun and tame a dragon, or is that just a myth? It's
Right.
hard to say.
Yes. There's a really weird gray area when it comes to these guys. And a lot of Eldar folklore. I mean, we've talked about their pantheon earlier. Like, did Cain actually fight the Nightbringer? Like,
Yeah.
did that happen? And so one of the things to maybe keep in your mind as you're listening to this episode is that this might just be a story.
Yeah.
It might be myth, it might be legend, but it also might be true. And I think that one of the best ways to do it is understand that in almost every legend, even like ours, like they grow and they embellish and change, and we change things to make people seem more heroic and to make them seem more badass, and for them to, they said this, but that's not really what a hero would say, so here's what they actually said.
Yeah, because if you look at the facts, like, if they're such badasses, why do they keep dying?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're so amazing, how could they ever lose?
Yeah.
Right, and when you start, especially Malgan Ra, when we get to him, you're like, how has he not been excommunicated from Eldar society as a whole for doing what he did?
Yeah.
So understand that it might be real, it might be false. There's also a lot of weird time inconsistencies that you might be like, hey, that's bullshit what you said. And it will just chalk it up to the fact that they're very old and it's very hard to pinpoint exact time frames.
Yeah. We do know that the Phoenix Lords exist.
They are real people.
They are real.
Yeah.
But what they've done, hard to say.
Their origins,
Yeah.
like, who's to say? Like, did they make up their origins? Or
Hard to
did they
say.
spread it around? Is someone else
Sneaky
actually
Eldar
there?
would do something like that, wouldn't
Yeah, well, I don't know. Sneaky little. Yeah.
Conniving.
But yeah, so just keep in mind that this is like, there's myth in this as we go over it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's start with the first of the Phoenix Lords, Asuraman, the Hand of Asuran.
Asurian? Yeah.
And the founder of the Dire Avengers. So, Asuraman is said to have been the first Eldar Phoenix Lord.
Slide.
Oh,
there he is.
He was the founder of the Path of the Warrior, and he created the same shrine on Asur, a planet that he also named. So we got another one into the mix here.
Okay, yeah, it's another one.
Yeah. So he created the Dire Avenger Shrine there, which was to grow to the most widespread of all the aspects.
And you totally see that too represented. Every single craft world has Dire Avengers.
Yeah.
It's impossible to not have them.
They look sweet.
I love that yin yang look he's got going for him.
I was gonna say.
It's kind of cool because it makes me think that there's like, ooh, he's been doing it for, who knows how many millions of years that he likes yin yang. So where did the humans learn it from? Ancient aliens.
Ancient
Ancient alien theorists believe that Asurman traveled to Earth in the late 800 BC era.
looking for pupils to train in the art of war.
That's right.
That's
it.
See, mythology. That's what we're talking about.
I know this is slightly off topic, but every time I see art of Eldar, it makes me think, oh man, I wish there were new Eldar models because the art looks so cool.
Art's so
Like, look at how
good.
badass that guy on the right looks. I know for all you listening, or
Absolutely.
just imagine something cool. But like,
Or pay $2 and
Yeah.
watch our stream.
but like the model is a little bit less great.
they could use an update.
But I don't know. Some of their models are so great, or like their art
Yeah,
is so great. Looks super cool.
I love it. Okay. Before the fall of the Eldar, Asurman lived a common and boring life on the crone world of Edafarion. Skeptical of the prophecies of doom being spread about the fall of the Eldar, that is until the doom of the race finally occurred.
right, yeah. And there was some
I don't believe. Oh my god!
You can't convince. Oh shit!
I feel
Apparently,
like that's what Americans are feeling right now.
there's nothing. Oh my god!
Yeah.
There was something with his brother too. Someone tried to convince him to actually go be an Exodite.
Yeah. His
Oh, sorry, did I
Yeah.
skip ahead?
Yeah. It's fine though. Skeptical of the prophecies of doom being spread about the fall of the Eldar, that is until the doom of the race finally occurred. At the birth of Slaanesh, Asurman's planet was invaded by demons. Many Eldar were killed and devoured that day, including his brother, who had become possessed. But yeah, his brother did try to convince him to become.
Yeah,
an
his
Exodar.
brother saw the signs even earlier than Asurman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not enough to protect
Yeah.
him from demon possession. And sadly, actually, Asurman had to kill his own brother. there.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
tragic, actually.
That is crazy.
Something to note as well is that this crone world, that should tell you that it was in the Eye of Terror.
yeah.
So it is a miracle, first off, that he survived the pull of Slaanesh
Yeah.
for all the Eldar souls that are in
It
there.
just shows how strong-willed of a soul he is.
Exactly.
Especially
yes.
if he was skeptical of it happening.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Like that would you'd think that if you didn't think something was going to happen,
You wouldn't be prepared
you'd be
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
No, he when I look at that, I see maybe he led like a boring life, but
Yeah.
he was still a very like strong-willed person.
And then for years, Asurman defended himself against demons, learning the art of war along the way.
Well, that's what happens when you're in the Eye of Terror.
Yeah. Yeah, days sometimes feel like an eternity too in the warp, so it's all just it's a good time
It's a
to learn.
mess.
Yeah. Asurman survived this experience after finding shelter in an Eldar god shrine. Their presence was enough to keep the demons at bay. So, he'd hang out there and then he'd have to go post-apocalypse scavenge around for a can of beans and then make his way back to the shrine.
What do you think Eldar beans, like, do you think they had cans of food?
They probably have cones on the end of the
Little cones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
little
beans?
cones.
You
Yeah.
mean?
Well, it's
Because
like-
that way you can take the cone, flip it, you can pour your beans into the cone, and then you can drink your beans.
Bean soup.
Eldar bean soup.
Yeah.
He lived alone at the temple for several years, contemplating suicide, and he might have done it too if it wasn't for that one surviving Eldar child. So let's jump to Jane Czar. Her tale begins with her early abandonment on the steppes of Kurnesi?
The Kurnasai?
Kurnesi? Which is presumably an Eldar gladiatorial school.
And that's pre-fall,
Yeah.
so those are probably pretty fucked up gladiator
Yeah,
schools.
yeah, they probably are. Did the gladiatorial witch cults get better or worse?
They stayed the same.
Oh God!
Oh my god.
She was called Farah Ethel at this time and spent her childhood as a blood dancer, killing for entertainment of her master on the crone world of Edafarion. So the same planet as Asurman. When the fall of the Eldar began, almost everyone on the planet died, and after that, it was a war for survival from the manifesting demons or the old Eldari inhabitants. Farathiel eventually found another survivor that didn't attempt to kill her outright. Instead, she had to stop him from killing himself.
So that's Asurman. She's been surviving as an orphan scavenger, really, this whole time, and then she meets this guy, and he's like, "Life is pointless. I must die," and she stops him.
Yeah. And then he gets wounded, and she has to hold his hand, and then they have a moment, and he doesn't want to die anymore.
What's that line from Inception? An old man filled with regret That's him.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
That might be the first time Eric's never not known a quote. That's unbelievable.
I'm melting.
I'm so glad it's recorded.
I'm dying. It was in my life contract. I had to know.
Asurman would go on to take Jane Czar as his student and leave the planet with her and some other like-minded individual Eldar. Together, they would travel to the newly named planet Asurman, which was like a desert wasteland planet.
Yeah, and it's a moon apparently.
Yeah.
That's no moon.
It's a sewer. A sewer.
Did you get that reference?
What? The moon?
Oh my god, he's gonna die.
He's broken.
I've smashed him forever.
On Asurman would establish the Asuria, a warrior
Where they would write the Asuriata and worship Asurian.
yeah. A warrior order of Eldar emerging after the fall. That's the Asuria. Known as the Children of Asur. Yeah, there's a lot. Learning from their master, mental discipline, and the ways of the path of the warrior. Notable Asuriad included Jane Czar, Barahoth, Fugin, and Arya, who all went on to become Phoenix Lords. There's a couple others too, but for some reason...
These might be the ones that he initially found,
Sure.
but at some point he did train all the Phoenix Lords.
So forgive my ignorance, but that's the one that just had a model recently, right?
Jane
The-
Czar.
Jane Czar,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I always, when that model came out, for some reason, I completely blanked on the fact that she was a Phoenix Lord. For some reason, I was just like, oh, yeah, it's just like a powerful Exarch. But no, she's, like, very powerful.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's cool. Knowing her background actually makes that come alive a little bit more.
Yeah, she was a
'cause-
gladiator from a child. She had to
Yeah.
murder for the entertainment of thousands of people from a very young age. And
Is she probably like the second strongest Phoenix Lord?
I don't. It's kind of hard to judge the power level of them, but
Maybe like second in command?
It's over
Well.
9,000 either way.
Yeah. Has to be.
yeah.
Yeah, but even if you look at her model real quick, like it looks very witch cult-esque.
Oh yes,
Like even
yes.
that weapon and
The
stuff.
Triskeli, yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool, though.
But no spoilers.
Shut your
Saruman
mouth.
has traveled to more craft worlds than any other Phoenix Lord, teaching those Eldar who wanted to learn, and has founded many more shrines than any other Phoenix Lord. Yeah, so along the way, he would have met like Ithilien, and a couple other
Yeah.
ones, Cariandros maybe,
Malgan Raw.
Morgan Rao, yeah.
He should have been with them on Asur. They constantly talk about Baharoth and Malgan Ra being related, kind of like metaphorically, like one is Baharoth's the sun and Malgan Ra's the moon, and they're like brothers. So it definitely makes more sense to me that he would be there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So soon after the inception of the aspect shrines, the hand of Asurion vanished, but the tales of his deed continued to be reported. He would make appearances throughout 10,000 years on and off, but his latest appearance actually is under the command of Jane Czar now, who has now pledged herself to Yanid,
Yeah,
which is
and
the Eldar god of death.
and that last appearance, it was in the Webway, and there was a big battle between a bunch of the Yanari and Thousand Sons and some demons.
Yeah.
And so Asurman was seen there with Jane Czar. So,
Yeah.
and that's very, very recent
Yeah.
lore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of a sermon. He was the leader. He taught all the other Phoenix Lords. He was the one who got them together. He was the one who really created the path of the warrior.
He's the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. First in everything. First warrior, first Phoenix Lord, first aspect warrior, first Exarch.
yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I really wish he had a better model. It does
I've
not
seen-
do him justice.
I've seen people take the one bodyguard of Yanid,
Okay.
and turn him into that Asurion.
Bodyguard. Of
Yeah.
Yanid?
Okay. I'll
It's
I'll
not
Google.
the Incarn, is it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, find it for me. But yeah, I'm not like upset at their choice to choose Jane Czar, but I was a little surprised when I found out that she was a Phoenix Lord. I was like, oh, like you did her and you wouldn't do a Sewerman? Oh my god. It just looks so much more menacing.
Yeah.
I love that blade. I love the helmet. I love the Eldar wings on the back. Oh my god. I'm creaming over here. I'll get my spare pants.
The Vizark. That's who we're talking
Ooh.
about.
Well, that is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
pretty
the
cool.
little knee pad with the Ooh.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
so I've
All
seen
the
people, like,
stones
read
all
That's
over.
that's even the sound that I think that little piece.
Yeah.
makes. It has the most important job. It's protecting the important parts of Ahriman there.
Okay, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm taking that mouth.
Asman?
That's bad.
Very, very cool. I like Asurman.
Yeah. Jane Czar is up next.
Okay, Jane Czar. So we definitely heard her backstory. She was the orphan child.
Yeah.
Who saved Asurman, and then Asurman later got to save her and show her the path of the warrior.
Yeah.
So it's all, well, that ends well, right?
Yeah.
So, but for the last, so she's called the Storm of Silence, and she is the founder of the Howling Banshees, which we've talked about before under our Aspect Warrior episode. But Jane Czar, for the past 10,000 years, has prolifically traveled the galaxy, and she has established her shrines in as many places as possible. She is the most devoted to her shrines, and her warriors fervently watch for her arrival.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they really, like, desperately wait to see her.
Yeah.
So Asurman might have the most shrines, but I think that of all of them, these guys are the most excited when Jane shows up, Jane Czar.
Yeah. That's cool.
Hers is the second most numerous shrine of all the Phoenix Lords. Only the most remote of places are missing her presence. But
She gets around, is what you're saying.
oh yeah, she's a modern woman of the 41st millennium. She doesn't give a shit.
Honestly, that model is super cool. Is it available to just because I'd want that
Yeah,
model.
you can just buy it.
You can just buy her?
Can you?
Or
Can you
or
not?
Can you only get it in the Phoenix Lord box thing?
I
Or
don't
did they
know.
release
for
her?
sure
I
either
bet you
way or
could
another.
find it.
Sure. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It's
I
a-
like it.
She's cool.
They've got this weird thing recently of like very dynamic poses
Yeah.
and massive hair.
Yeah, the massive.
I
hair.
like the
Yeah.
massive hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks very 80s. She's like a
a rock star.
she's like a yeah, sure.
What were you thinking?
I was just there's a word for it that I was not getting.
Grocery man.
That's the one.
Nailed it.
But yeah, no, she's like, I would love to see this applied to all the other aspect
no.
warriors. Like, they would get some amazing models.
Yeah. Check out Artel W. I'll have to show you. Well, somebody else can read, and I'll find some miniatures for you here.
I know Artel W's Phoenix. Not their I know their Eldar line. Anyways, so in Jane Czar's most recent history, she's become an ardent champion of Iniad and the Inari. So the reason for this most likely revolves around her resurrection with the help of Iniad and not requiring a sacrificial host body. Maybe. So
Yeah.
it's actually really weird if you try and read kind of the description of how she joined Iniad. Drazhar, it was this big thing with Drazhar where he killed her and he took her army to this area of Camorra called Aeldar,
Yeah.
which is like the half shadow dimension. It's where the mandrakes live, and it's like doesn't follow the rules of our reality.
Yeah.
And so he was like, if I leave her armor here, no one will be able to resurrect her. And then Iniad is the one that actually resurrected her through this thing, but it's like in one place it says she didn't need a body, and in another place it says she did need the body. So I'm not exactly certain if Iniad actually did anything.
Was it just Phoenix Lords are known to resurrect?
Yeah,
their
they just
whole Phoenix
resurrect
gimmick.
always.
Yeah.
So
Almost like that was written in the last couple years, and you know it's just bad lore. Yeah.
whoa,
That's weird.
they would never.
Weird, confusing.
Yeah, it's. I think they could have done some better stuff on that. But for whatever reason, she really she is almost the champion of Iniad at this point. You know, if it wasn't for Ivrain.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's really pushing for all the Eldar to fall under the banner.
Yeah. And we'll see
As you all should.
You know what? I don't mind that. I am waiting for the day when all Eldar are just under the Inari, and they're just in one book, and you just have set like Camorrites, you have Craft Worlds, you have Exodites, you know, all that stuff. Anyways, so she'll now come to the aid of the Inari whenever possible.
Yeah.
So
That's nice.
yeah, that's Jane Czar. That's what
Jane
she's
Czar.
doing.
She's cool. She got a cool backstory. I really like her just fighting in the pits as a child.
It
I like
sounds
her.
horrific.
Yeah.
but it sounds very much pre-fall Eldar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love how you can just see it just translate into a miniature in her shrine. So cool.
Like the horror almost of her like mask that she wears.
Yeah.
So
and then like a graceful pose, and if you see all the howling banshees, they're on in like really graceful poses, like witches, and
Her mask is the very first one ever made because they have like a psychic scream.
yeah.
And all other masks are a pale imitation, apparently, of this mask.
Oh.
Apparently, it's very, very powerful. But I believe that a lot of that comes to herself. Yeah. If you look at the artwork, I'm just noticing right now, above her head, that looks like a skull that's screaming, and that entire negative space is just a mouth. Right? You like put your mouth
that,
up. Yeah, that's like the face up there,
Yeah.
and that whole thing is just a mouth screaming.
Yeah, that does look like that, doesn't it?
Right? But it doesn't look like that on the model at all.
No, she turned it down. You know, she's not 14,000 anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
She's
matured
growing
a little
up.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so the next we have Baharoth.
Okay. So Baharoth, he is the cry of the wind, founder of the Swooping Hawks. Baharoth is the brother of Magan Ra and was said to be the finest student that Esserman had. He was the pinnacle of speed and grace and moved with the force of a hurricane. Baharoth harbors much hatred for chaos, largely due to the destruction of his home craft world, Anian, by a massive chaos invasion. During his travels to the craft worlds, he founded the Shrine of the Swooping Hawk, and he took his name from the wild hunting birds of Eldar mythology, where a murdered Eldar soul would inhabit the body of a hawk and fly and hover above the murderer as a mark of guilt. That's pretty cool.
It's so crazy.
Okay, so there's something really weird about this. Now, we've never talked about it before, but I came across it as I was doing research for this.
Yeah.
And it's the path of rebirth.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently, when the fall happened, their path of rebirth was blocked forever. And I never really found anything about it other than that. But, you know, when you start to think about the path of rebirth, like what that means and everything, so... and then I came across this separately, and I was like, oh my god, what if, like, these murdered Eldar actually are inhabiting these, like, birds and actually marking out their victim and pointing the finger and being like, this is the guy that murdered me.
Yeah. That would be so cool.
I
Yeah,
love
that
that
makes
idea.
sense.
Yeah.
That, like, now it doesn't happen anymore. That's why it's fallen into mythology. 'cause they
Exactly, it's
can't do it
legend because you
anymore.
can't you can't do a rebirth anymore. You're
Right.
stuck in the infinity circuit.
But when he was around,
Exactly.
it would have been a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's like taking that thing that has been lost and anymore, and now he's like, I will be the vengeance for all the Eldar that have been murdered. And I like Baharoth. I really, really like.
I like the aspect too that
idea.
you could almost think of it as like he's almost out of touch. Like he's using
stuck in the
Yeah,
past.
he has like this idea. He has these like metaphors and ideas that are so. They're like 10,000 years old, so no one gets it, but he just keeps doing it because he's still the same guy, and not even as a joke, but like
no.
legitimately, he's in this headspace that's so different from where everyone else is.
A lot of the Phoenix Lords they're operating on a wavelength that just isn't seen or accepted or understood by any of the other Eldar. It helps that they're 10,000 years old, but
with other hundreds of souls living in them as well.
exactly
Right.
all those different experiences. And I do think that comes back to their ascension, the fact that you cannot be them and be the same.
Yeah.
But they do live very differently, and I like that idea that he is, you know, that aspect of like judgment and vengeance. So
All I know is birds are no system of
government.
judicial.
Yeah, judicial review. Judicial.
It's no way to do it.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a swooping hawk.
All right, so Baharoth wields the Shining Blade, which, according to Eldar legends, was forged by the daughters of Val in the heart of a dying supernova.
Yes.
Crazy. The main armament remains the Swooping Hawk wings, a specialized Eldar jump pack with anti-gravity lifters and a jet propulsion system.
And built-in colorful feathers.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. Apparently they vibrate.
Yeah.
and then they also do like a whistle or a shriek when they dive, so it sounds like a hawk's like piercing cry as it dives on you. So
It's pretty cool.
that's what it sounds like. The last thing you ever heard was
I like it.
So Baharoth was last seen under the command of James Czar, defending the Ynnari from the Thousand Suns and demons in the Webway, though he vanished during that battle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
His model is also 10 out of 10. Possibly a little bit better than James R's, but
But
I
the artwork looks amazing.
Wait, are you saying it's better than James R's?
yeah, obviously.
Get out of here, you insane man.
That's a good model right
It's
there. I
better
don't know
than a
what you're talking
Surman and his crappy banner. His banner is so weird to me, but
Well, it's weird because it seems like that's just an old 40K thing, the banners. Everyone had banners on their backpacks.
banners just look so much better these days than that like flat piece. It just looks like he has a sheet of metal behind him. But yeah, no, I like this guy. I like the wings.
I like his helmet.
I like
yeah,
the
I
color.
love that massive
Yeah, the
plume.
color.
The color is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see it too often.
No.
Very cool.
Very
No,
cool.
I'm kidding. James R's better, obviously. The model is much,
Obviously.
much better.
You're being very facetious today.
A little bit fascistic.
Whoa.
No, just kidding.
All
All right, Fuegan.
Fuegan.
Fuegan, the burning.
Fugan.
Well,
Or Fuegan. You know, you do you.
I'm preferring Fuegan because look at him.
Okay.
And then
He looks like Terra do Fuego.
Something about fire, right?
Yeah, probably.
And there's another version of him. Oh, RTLW makes some sick miniatures.
Well, it's yeah.
He's just killing
They-
a demon there.
They've updated
Ooh.
like a lot of the Eldar stuff, and like I'm sure if Games Workshop did it, it would be better than it currently is.
That's
I
a
don't
very
know if
low
it could
bar.
Be better than that.
Yeah. All right, so Fuegan, as I'm going to call him, like the other Phoenix Lords, was trained by Assermen, where he learned the destructive nature of fire and flame.
Which are two different things, keep in mind.
Well, obviously, fire and flame.
Of course.
The hand gestures
That's how
complete
Surman
that.
explained it to him too. Fugan's like, I really like this hot Bernie thing, and Surman's like, yes,
Fire?
This is fire, and this is
You
flame.
have to pay the extra $2 to see what I'm talking about.
Worth it.
Worth it. Okay. So Fuegan founded many shrines across different craft world and is respected as a hero to the Eldar people and is often depicted holding the cosmic serpents of wisdom and entropy in his grasp.
Wisdom, because I go back to Avatar: Last Airbender. You have to be wise when you're a firebender because you can't let fire go out
It's
of
too
control.
destructive.
Yeah, so you
Well,
gotta know
and
when
entropy
to
is
use
kind
it.
of fire has that kind of chaotic, at least in like mythos. It's always associated with like destruction and chaos. And
Yeah.
so
Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
it's commonly
Yeah.
associated with. Well, you can get out of here. All right, so Fuegan doesn't spend long in one place. Instead, he travels the depths of the webway tunnels, only emerging to wreak total annihilation on the enemies of the Eldar.
Perfect.
So yeah, he's like a corny sounding guy.
He's a traveler, as they all are.
He looks like a berserker marine.
I was going to say that
honestly.
too. He doesn't really look that
He
like,
looks very not
much like an
Eldari.
Eldar, yeah.
The
Yeah.
scale armor.
The scale armor is a huge thing for sure, but also especially in that artwork, he looks beefy and he looks mean. Like James R looks like terrifying and horrifying. Asurman kind of just looks like stalwart and like a defender, but Fugan, like that axe, he's menacing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and he almost has like that model has almost like a predator looking vibe. The way those like hoses come into his nose.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, weird guy.
Weird dude. Tell me more.
So he later appeared under the command of Jane Czar and is now pledged to Unid, which seems to be a pattern.
Yeah.
What? No,
Yeah.
it's not. Trust me.
It's an
Trust me.
emerging pattern.
It's you know what? That's probably the last place we're gonna see that.
Yeah,
in this
no
entire
one-
episode.
No one's getting on this Unid band. Stop trying to make it happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's so fetch.
In many ways, Fuegan embodies the aspect warrior's obsession with their deadly craft, devoting himself completely to this systematic and total destruction of the Eldar's enemies, pitilessly destroying the enemies of the Eldar in an unbroken chain across the galaxy. The Eldar believe that with this chain, Fuegan intends to bind the dragon at the end of days, mastering destruction itself.
To learn more, we'll be talking about the Ramadandron in the end of this, and then all of that metaphorical dragons and chains will be revealed.
The chains.
Will it?
They have
Yeah!
nothing.
Yes,
they have
it's going to be
nothing
revealed.
lose, but
Yeah,
their chains.
so we'll talk more about that.
Stick around.
So it said that he will answer the call together with the Phoenix Lords for the Randandra, the final conflict, that he will be the last to die.
Yeah.
The last to die, eh?
Yeah, they all die.
He's too busy murdering.
Well, I mean, I guess you've kind of let the cat out of the bag that he will
Mark,
be the
that
last
was
to
what
die.
we were going to talk about.
Spoiler alert. Ruined it.
I think so far too, he has the tallest helmet, like the
Yeah.
the biggest cone on the top.
And then
Oh,
side fins
you know what
on
that
it.
means. You know what they say with big cones?
There you go.
What do they say?
What does that mean?
Big head,
Oh,
big brain.
he's big brain.
Big brain.
Fugan holds up this axe. He's like, I'm going to do what's called a big brain move. Chops the snake of wisdom. That's a big brain move.
You don't
Okay.
need wisdom to be destroying things.
That's right.
The next one is, how would you say this one? Irilith.
Irilith?
Irilith? Sure. The Shade of Twilight and the founder of the Shadow Specters.
This probably has some of the best models.
Oh,
In
yeah.
all the Aspect Warriors.
Yeah.
I take it that's not canon.
No,
Is that James?
It's Forge World.
Oh, I
Forge
take it.
World.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so good.
Forge World did something I like. That's the surprising part right there.
Just wait till you hear the price tag.
Oh, $7,000. There it is.
All right, Forge World, please. Just take it right from my butt like you always do.
Irilith, also known as the Shade of Twilight, was trained by Asuruman in the art of war, focusing on stealth, mobility, and overwhelming firepower. He later founded the Shadow Specters on a craft world of Memoria, and he would serve and protect Memoria with distinction.
That seems like an odd combo: stealth and overwhelming firepower. Those seem to be counter.
Don't think about it too hard.
His weapon's really cool. So it's like this super close range, like tank buster gun, essentially. So you gotta sneak up, tippy toes, and then you unleash. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much just a better version of a fire dragon.
More mobile, better gun. Interesting.
You didn't hear it from me, though.
No, of course not. Irilith gathered and would lead a great war host to the mysterious world of Bethlehem to destroy a race that would come to rise against the craft world Mymeria thousands of years into the future. I love exterminating races just because.
Yeah. Well, because in the future, they might rise up against you.
Yeah.
So you need to take preemptive strikes.
And instead of taking time to, make peace treaties with them, work
Yes.
over it over thousands of years, hopefully get somewhere, just wipe them out.
No. It's too Rixy business. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
They looked into the future, and there was only one scenario
Oh, yeah.
out of the millions of futures that only one.
Okay, we can
And
live
this is
together
the
in
one.
harmony with them, or we could destroy
No,
them.
all of those don't work. Exterminating only work.
Irilith and his hosts, though, they never returned back to Craftworld Mymeria. With their Phoenix Lord lost, the Shadow Specters aspect fell into decline.
Ooh, so he was lost during that battle or sometime after?
Yeah, sometime during that whole campaign or whatever. Yeah, the hosts never returned.
It is a weird, looking at it, almost gives me Imperial vibes. Is that just me?
Well,
it looks like there's
are you talking
like
about the
Aquillas
wings
and
on
stuff
the
on them.
shoulders and stuff?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
I definitely see it. I like the specter look to it. I love the fact that he's upright in the air and it looks like there's a massive
totally.
breeze and there's just lines.
The model
of
is
ribbons
excellent.
flowing out.
It looks
but
cool.
I know I get what you're saying there, but I mean the Imperium can't have a monopoly on angels of death, can they?
I mean,
They can. They will.
Damn it, they do.
Yeah, there's some more of them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they look even cooler when they don't have that gold quill on them. No,
yes,
a
they look
quill
more
on
Eldari.
They definitely do look more Eldari.
Ghosty boys.
I never really thought about it until you pointed it out. So
That's
yeah.
why you pay me the big bucks.
Yes, sir.
We don't pay you.
Nope.
Not even in friendship.
Nope. Many years later in M41.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm just.
So
gonna buy
there's
this
his.
real
We're just gonna buy some.
yeah.
There's his credit card information. That's another reason to pay for the Patreon subscription.
Yeah, you make your money back real fast.
Many years later in M41, the armor containing Irilith's spirit was discovered by Mirmiria on a human ice world of Betelgeuse 3.
Of course, it's 3. It's
course.
always
It always
3.
is.
It's always 3.
Oh
man.
yeah, Eric. One day we gotta do a bonus episode where we get
Find all the worlds
three.
that are 3s.
all the worlds, all the Space Marine captains.
Yes.
That are
Oh
the
yeah, it's
third.
them too.
Yeah, man.
That's a fucking conspiracy. I'm
It's
telling
something.
you.
We're on to
There's-
something.
You better keep your mouth shut, guys. Don't bring this to their attention that we
Don't tell
know.
anybody.
Yeah. We're gonna find this out. It's a little sus, if you ask me.
So Mymiria, Alatok, and Eldar Corsairs were dispatched to assault the world and recover Irilith, and were successful in resurrecting the Phoenix Lord.
I love that. I love the fact that we're gonna do this campaign to resurrect a fucking legend.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
It is cool, like, because there's so many good stories you could write around just, oh, this
Yes.
Phoenix
Yeah.
Lord died, but we're going to go bring him back to life. And it doesn't matter how many of you die along the way, because that last guy is going to get into the suit, and he's going to resonate, he's going to vibrate.
And then he's gonna be reborn, and that one single soldier is gonna just take and destroy planets if he has to.
With
I
his
just-
stealth, mobility, and overwhelming firepower.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's so sweet. Yeah, so that's Irilith.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. Model is 10 out of 10. It's probably
Yeah.
the second best Phoenix Lord model out there.
Sure.
Jane Czar is just really good.
Yeah. And you can't beat a new sculpt. so.
Exactly. Yeah. This is probably resin.
Oh yeah. Forge World resin even at that. So much flash, my god.
Oh my god. Literally having flashbacks.
Ah.
I've literally used a saw on Forge World models. A saw. Like, I was like, where's my saw for cutting trees? Let me use that on this model. Anyways. Now let's talk about Karandras.
Karandras the Squat.
That's rude. It's not his fault. That's a pretty tall cone, though.
That's
a
definitely the
That
tallest,
is a
I
tall
think.
cone.
I like to think too when he's headbanging his quills on his back.
He wets his
Adding-
hair back and forth
Yeah.
like
I want
Willow
my
Smith.
hair
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Actually, honestly, this might be my favorite one so far.
this one is very Predator.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So Karandras is the Shadow Hunter, and he's the Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpions. That's a good one. Yeah. So Karandras is unique among the Phoenix Lords due to the fact that he is not the founder of the Striking Scorpions. However, he is their current Phoenix Lord. So the original founder of the shrine, Aura, trained many students the ways of the Striking Scorpions. They were violent, merciless killers who specialized in close combat, almost berserkers even.
Yeah.
They had no temper on their rage. They just unleashed it all.
Yeah.
And during the fall of the Eldar, Aura is said to have joined with the Dark Eldar, fleeing into the Webway. So this would have been sometime after his training with Asurmin and the creation of the Striking Scorpions, but, before too much time had actually passed.
Yeah, this was one of those weird time things. When you look too much into it, it gets a little funky, but
In Malgan Ra, you'll find very similar weird time discrepancies where it's like 500 years pass, and you're like, oh, but isn't this the same time? And
sure.
so yeah, just
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So he fled into the Webway with the Dark Eldar. And the last time Aura was seen was in a duel with Karandras, one of his students.
Yeah.
That lasted 17 days. And where Aura was finally defeated, and Karandras proved his ability to be the Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpions.
And it's cool how he defeated them, too.
It is. It's a very cool story.
Well, sure.
Okay, well,
You're
they
a natural storyteller, so.
they talk about how Ara wasn't able to discipline his anger and have patience enough to strike. And he just went all out, balls to the wall, do everything I can to kill you right now, rage.
Yeah.
And Karandros took his time, tempered his rage, held it back, waited for the perfect time, and then unleashed all of his rage in that moment. So that was kind of what he...
that's not how it happened, man.
That's...
Maybe we're reading different stories. But so what actually happened, the mythology is, so they have that battle, they're fighting, and then Karandros gets Arya into a fit of rage that he can't control anymore, and then he slips away into the shadows. And he ends up killing all his students, his own warriors, because like he was outnumbered or something, Karandros, and
No, I don't know what I'm thinking of, but that's 100% the story. What?
You're just making up other myths.
I'm just making
and
up
this
myths.
is what we're talking about
It's
with
a fucking
mythology.
myth.
You
Yeah.
know, it's,
That's how they get started.
Yeah.
Shit.
One fucking redhead starts a whole thing.
Well, thank God you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that...
So he like tricks him into killing his own students.
Yeah.
Not even
Interesting.
tricks, really.
Yeah. Just winds him up and then like, okay, into the bushes.
And so
like,
It's
the whole
hilarious.
point was for him to prove that anger had to be tempered.
exactly, to teach his students that his new way is the way of the aspect.
Exactly, yeah.
Of the striking
Okay.
scorpion.
So did he win though? Did he end up beating him?
That was a win.
Oh.
It proved to Ara that his way was not the
Oh,
right
okay,
way.
so right.
And they fought for 17 days.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
So, that's the thing.
Right, is that legend? Did they actually fight for 17 straight days?
That would almost be like, how good are you if you can't, like, how did you not figure this out in 17 days? Like, did you miss a lot? Just like over and over again?
When
No, it's
both
just
are so
perfect parry,
good,
yeah.
everyone
Oh.
is so bad.
That's right.
Yeah, there it is.
So officially, though, Karandros took over the shrine as soon as Ara went into the webway.
Yeah.
And Karandros was Ara's greatest pupil, and not only mastered the original way of war that Ara taught, but also added to it and perfected it. Karandros was a patient and cunning hunter, but when the time came to pounce, his brutality and efficiency was made clear. Karandros taught the striking scorpions to temper their murderous nature. Patience and infiltration became an important tactic used by the shrine. So before that, they were very much just berserker warriors.
Yeah, run in and just kill.
Yeah, and then they became this patient, stalking hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since the birth of the Aeldari,
Guess what?
Karandros has pledged himself to Jane Czar,
Yes.
Hand of Rain, and fought alongside them.
Perfect.
Okay. Hold on.
Hold on.
No, it's fine. I'll let it go this time.
Okay.
But
Thank
no
God.
one else better do this because it's just
Okay, you know what? That's fair. That's probably the last one.
Yeah.
no more.
No more.
His claw is really cool.
It's just a massive crushing claw.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It's got some cool stuff on him.
Yeah, his so he has I think they're called mandiblasters.
Yeah, mandiblasters.
So the little things on the side of his skull, they just like shoot this like very close range thing at people, and it always just like trips people up. No one expects it.
yeah,
Cool.
has some like nerve agent, paralyzing agent
Yeah.
in it too, or something like that.
And then he
If you wanted to completely rip off another IP,
Yeah.
you could just
Yeah.
put Tyranids and this guy's aspect in a, like, I don't know, some
weird fusion.
yeah. You could make a movie about that almost. I don't know. You'd call it like
Well, one would be like an
Extraterrestrials.
alien, and one would be like the hunter. Right?
Yeah,
So
extra-
hunter and extraterrestrial.
yeah. There we go.
Hunter versus extraterrestrial,
Oh.
right? Because they're fighting each other.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That
and one
makes
could
sense.
like stalk the other one, right? Because
Oh, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he's tempering his patience or his anger with patience.
Yeah, like one could hide in the like have some camo, and the other one could kind of like
Well,
skulk.
I think
I can't
even,
confirm that they use camo, but I can confirm that they like strike from the shadows in a very unnatural way. And you might look at this shadow and see nothing, but there's definitely a striking scorpion in there.
Oh, sweet! I think I even found some concept art.
Oh wow, very
yeah,
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
I like
look
that.
it
I
I
can
like
see
that.
it.
Yeah.
Somebody should make that.
There's actually a
into-
lot of concept art.
There's a
about it.
surprising amount of con. Oh,
Yeah, wow.
it
look
goes
at
on
that.
forever.
You could even make a game out of that. I bet.
I bet
Probably
you could make a couple games out of that. Maybe a whole universe, even.
Somebody will do that. We'll leave that to you, the listener.
Okay. Up next we got Megan Raw, the Harvester of Souls. Eric, I know you really like this one. You want to take it?
No, I'm gonna let Rio do it. I'm just gonna chime in.
It's my turn though. I'm doing it.
Didn't I just do Karandras?
Yeah, you're right.
So it's not your
No.
turn.
Well,
That guy is a badass.
He's awesome. Your Rio's gonna enjoy this. He's gonna
Okay.
like it.
Oh, Mark, you don't do it?
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
I was just trying to pass it on to
Okay.
Eric.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, Rio.
Okay. So Morgan Ra,
Yes.
Okay. the Harvester of Souls. He is the founder of the Dark Reapers. So Morgan Ra was trained by Azurman with his brother Baharoth after the fall of the Eldar. He became an exarch, lost upon the path of the warrior, while on his home craft world of Altensar. So Altensar only barely managed to escape complete destruction during the fall of the Eldar, as it was on the edge of the Eye of Terror. However, during the next 500 years, it was slowly pulled into the Eye itself, and the only survivor was Morgan Ra.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Yeah. So apparently there was just 500 years where he had time to slowly like contemplate the fact that his entire craft world was about to be annihilated.
Oof.
And
And I'm sure a lot of people on that craft world were already dead. Their souls sucked out.
Yeah, because demons are just constantly assaulting this place,
Yeah.
right? It's right on the edge of the Eye of
Yeah.
Terror. Also, they love when more things get added to it, so they wanted to make it one of their own. So
I just picture him like the planet is moving towards the Terra, and like I just picture him on the furthest
very
point,
yeah.
and just like in a crouching sitting position, just like as his planet is moving there and he's meditating and the demons are coming and he kills them eventually sometimes, but then he just like goes back to meditating on the tallest furthest point on the
Yeah.
planet from the
for as
Terra.
long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
why that visual just that's
Cool.
cool.
He's a very
Gets
cool
me.
character. Yeah.
That's crazy. So as his home was slowly being pulled into the Eye, Morgan Ra continued to stray further and further from the teachings of Azurman, farther than any other save Ara. Morgan became obsessed with perfecting his skill with a weapon, any weapon. He trained himself until he could use any weapon with the precision of a scalpel. This skill would eventually be known as the Mogatar.
Yeah, I don't know if I think this is the coolest thing, but it is like his ideal is that he saw like, oh, you can be like super destructive with a weapon. You can, just destroy massive mountains if you need to. But like the pinnacle is having that firepower and using it with like the precision of a doctor and using it to like expertly kill something.
Right.
So that was like kind of his philosophy as he spent 500 years on a dying craft world. That was like what he like became, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So he's just a weapons master. He could just use any weapon.
Yes, that was like his ideal, but then he did something different. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he chose to focus on destroying his enemies from a great distance with disturbing accuracy. Because of this highly specialized need, Morgan had to forge his desired weapon himself. No other weapon could perform to his standards. In order to build the weapon he desired, he combined an ancient shrieker cannon with a built-in executioner. And this was no ordinary weapon, and many trials were undertaken in its creation, such as battling a keeper of secrets, a Slaneshi greater demon, sacrificing an exarch, and also battling through hordes of Slaneshi demons.
Nice.
I gotta test this out. So luckily I'm on a world that's getting eaten by that terror, and there's plenty of like opportunities.
This was like a weird thing. So first of all, a shrieker cannon is just like a really big shuriken cannon that can fire shrieker shurikens.
Yeah. Which, believe it or not,
shriek as they fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually cause their target to explode.
which causes more shrieking.
Right, of course, yeah. But they explode through rewriting their genetics.
Oh yeah.
Right? Is that
What?
genetically tailored? So there's a poison in here that is apparently genetically tailored to rewrite whatever the target's DNA is and literally just causes massive body failure until they explode. I'm not a geneticist, but I think you would need a different poison for every single species in the galaxy. I don't know. Anyways.
It's fine.
And
crazy.
then there's that cannon, but then he also attached an executioner to it, which is really just a power glaive.
Yeah.
And if you look at the model, you can see that it manifests as just this massive scythe on the end of his blade. I'm not I don't marry the idea of this guy who strikes from like disturbing accuracy from very far distances with this close combat weapon.
But let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Harvester of Souls.
I
Grim Reaper.
Okay, so
Skulls.
the aesthetic fits. The aesthetic definitely fits.
No, I know what you're saying.
I just don't get.
It's weird. Like,
Yeah.
when does he ever want to be in close combat?
Exactly.
again?
His whole purpose is to go from as far away as possible
Yeah.
with just
He's
crazy
sitting on the
accuracy.
tip of his craft world, shooting down at Slanesh.
He's shooting
all day.
other planets with that thing, you know? Like,
It also doesn't make sense, like, the aesthetic to be, like, why does he have a bunch of skulls if he's so far away?
Well,
no one would
he's-
see them but him.
well, he's just embodied the fact that he's a Grim Reaper, and I think that his death comes from anywhere, and that's what he's trying to say. He's like, I'll shoot you from anywhere.
Sure, I
don't
just
forget-
think it's a wasted aesthetic on a guy who wants to be far away.
Yeah, I
Personally,
mean, if
but-
it's aesthetic, it doesn't really, like, you can like it and I cannot like
Sure,
it, right?
I
So-
love the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that art there is sick.
Oh, it's so disturbing. It's not like bright Eldar at all. It's
No.
very dark.
But I
like
just
his
don't understand
banner.
why. I wish he
His
was more
banner's
like.
fine.
I like the banner. I think it's the ponytail of the skull up there.
It's nice.
Right? Okay. So earlier we were talking about like things that are legend.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this quest that Maugan Ra had to do to build this weapon.
Okay.
So he had to battle the Keeper of Secrets, a Slaneshi Greater Demon.
Yeah.
I bet he's totally battled a Slaneshi Greater Demon.
Sure.
He
we
battled.
all have.
Yeah.
We all battle them nightly.
That's wow. Mark, are you doing okay?
Let's carry on.
He's possessed by a keeper of secrets. That's all.
Every night it tries to escape.
I have to beat it down though.
So the sacrifice of an exarch, it doesn't make sense to me. And
Yeah, what did
I
he
just
do?
yeah, did he literally like, all right, so Tommy the exarch, you just put these chains on, nothing's gonna happen, I swear. Just lie down on this sacrificial table, nothing's gonna happen. Let me take your armor off and stab you with this knife, nothing's gonna happen.
Maybe the sacrifice was him just testing the weapon and just blowing away one of his friends. It's just like,
That's-
let
I
me
like
try this out.
That was what I thought first when he said it.
Well, these-
Sacrificing. All right.
These trials were for him to gather the
Oh,
materials
I
and
see.
like the plans, because it's like a very impossible weapon. It's like, forging in WoW like the Ashbringer, right? Or the Lich King's sword, Frostmourne or something, right? Like,
Maybe he used like a soul stone or something to embedded that in it. And
so
maybe
that's the only like plausible thing that I'm gonna say, but still, like, to kill an exarch, it sounds like murder to me.
No, it's him and his buddy. They're talking, right? They're like, yo, man, I'm trying to get this badass nickname. I want to be called the Harvester of Souls. He's like, bro, I got you. Just kill me.
Harvest my soul, bro.
Harvest my soul.
Bro,
That
you're my
way-
world, bro.
Yeah, that way you'll be a legend.
No Gato.
Harvester of Souls. Yeah, I think that's how it probably went
Is that?
down. Yeah.
I'm willing to accept that. Tommy said, "Bro, do it to me, bro."
Bruh.
I got you,
Bro.
bro.
It's quite the bro.
That's a real bro, right? Willing to kill himself or let you kill him for your own title.
Yeah, it's crazy. So after all these trials, Morgan finally had the materials he needed. So he found the greatest bone singer in the galaxy, Kaleth Tool. Morgan kidnapped Kaleth Tool and held him captive for years while he taught Morgan how to craft his desired weapon.
For years.
Crazy. So when he was done, Morgan crippled Kaleth Tool, removing his eyes, tongue, and hands so he could never create a weapon to outshine his own. This weapon was called the Mogatar.
Little did he know that he learned to write with his feet afterwards.
Another thing that I think you'd probably not be okay with in Eldar society is
Yeah.
taking the most well-known bone singer in the entire galaxy and then crippling him so he cannot perform anymore.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's cool how he did it too. Remove the eyes so you can't see what you're doing. The tongue so he can't sing the bone into existence. Remember a while ago, like we've talked about like bone singers. Do they actually sing, or is it more metaphorical? That makes me think it's more like he's actually singing.
I think there's singing involved
I
for sure.
think so too. But
Yeah. The whole problem I have with this physical crippling
Yeah.
of a psychic being
Yeah.
is that Caleth Tool is more than capable of sharing his knowledge and experience with another Eldar psychically.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty easy to be like, because he has no mouth, but he's like, in his brain, he's thinking, shit, I can't, tell you,
Right.
so let me just psychically show you.
Or just like you could use his soul stone after he's dead too, right?
Yeah,
Like, his knowledge would get moved into the.
exactly. So
It's a little weird.
So
it's a
Malgan Ra
choice.
has sacrificed an
Maybe this
Exarch.
guy isn't the brightest Phoenix.
Well,
Lord.
no, he's not. You can tell by naming convention.
his eyes out and his tongue out, and no one will make a weapon as good as my weapon ever again. Malgan Ra, what are you doing?
Yeah, literally as
Why
he's
are you
removing
doing
his
that?
tongue,
I'll
Caleb-
sacrifice you, and you'll know. Now I'll have the materials.
As he's removing his tongue, Caleth is literally psychically talking to him, being like, "What are you doing? Like,
Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah. So, anyways, oh Malgan Ra.
Oh man. So after the loss of Eltensar, Malgan Ra was a changed Eldar. And it was here
It wasn't after he committed all those atrocities.
and it was here that he seemed to fully embrace his harvester role. He emerged from the destruction of Eltensar encased in black armor, sculpted with golden bone, wearing a skull helmet or helm. And it was remarked that he looked like the image of death itself.
Very cool. So yeah, eventually Altasar,
Altensar.
yeah, gets sucked fully into the Eye of
Yeah,
Terror.
and it just completely disappears, and
Yeah.
he's the only one that escapes its destruction.
Maybe he was like alone for a long time, and he just went a little batty.
500 years will do that
That's
to
a
you.
long time.
That's
to
my
spend alone.
that's my fan.
Especially
theory.
watching your whole world just get
And there's nothing you can do
Shredded.
about
And
it.
then you're committing atrocities too for some reason. It's just all crazy.
To make yourself feel a little better on the inside.
Well, at least I'm not as bad as the Celestial Demon.
Oh man.
Fuck.
So Malgan Ra took his skill, the Magatar, and his weapon, also called the Magatar,
Yeah.
and founded his shrine of the Dark Reaper. So 10,000 years later, during the 13th Black Crusade, Malgan Ra learned that his home craft world Eltensar actually had survived within the Eye. And he journeyed to find his kin and free them from the Eye of Terror.
Yes.
So, although the craft world had miraculously survived, its inhabitants were viewed with great suspicion, for no one can survive 10,000 years in the realm of chaos untouched.
Apparently, so he goes back there and he's like liberating them, and he makes this massive war council, and they actually get Altensar out of the Eye.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, can you
Oh,
imagine
just flying out of it? Oh,
after 10,000 years, and like he's kind of redeeming himself in
Yeah.
this way? Like now he's like the true Phoenix Lord, and he's like the savior and everything. And yet there's something really weird, because not a single member of Altensar is willing to remove their helmet, and they don't really talk. And they kind of just walk like they're shadows of their former selves. So the question is, what happened on Altensar in this Eye of Terror, and what have they brought out of it now?
Oh, interesting.
You know, so it's
there could be some fucking cool stuff there.
I love, like, Malgan Ra is, for all the problems I might have with him, like, he's one of my favorite Phoenix Lords.
Yeah. That does sound pretty cool.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna use my psychic powers to guess. I think he joins Jane Czar. Am I right?
Here, I'll read you.
Okay,
those.
hit me with it. Hit me with
So
it.
Malgan Ra was last seen with the forces of Jane Czar.
Oh my god.
my gosh.
Pledged to Yniad.
Here, we'll just delete that part because we don't need to read that part for the fourth time.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say it out loud.
Because you've memorized it, we've read that.
He
notes.
helped defend from the forces of the Thousand Suns and the demons in the webway,
Nice.
and yet mysteriously vanished
Afterwards.
without a trace. Yep, that's Malgan Ra for you.
What a great guy.
I'm just going to point out, there's nothing wrong with it, but someone is going to send us an email. Malgan is definitely spelled Gan.
Myogen?
So,
Maniogen. How do you spell it?
it's
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
someone's gonna send me an email, be like, "Hey, on that video, you spelled it wrong." But I mean, I spelled it with an E sometimes in the notes too. So, all right, we got the next Phoenix Lord.
Drastanda.
That's the one.
Nice. The Tempest of Starlight, founder of the Shining Spears. Drastanta, known as the Tempest of Starlight, was known for his hubris and tendency to engage in needlessly long battle. He embodying the spear of Kalia, Mensha Cain, which struck like lightning and kill an enemy with a single blow.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a douchebag, is what I'm. Just like, yeah, I'm gonna like just.
He's like a cat.
could
he
be
toys
over.
with his enemy. Yeah, and then when he wants them dead, they're dead.
I mean, like,
Then he
kills him in
extends the
one-
claw.
let's
yeah,
be
in
honest,
one
it's
strike.
40K. Everyone's a little bit of a douchebag.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's no good people, that's for sure.
Fair
Unless you're
enough.
talking about Malgan Ra. That man's a saint.
And the Tau, of course.
Of course.
Naturally, yes.
Of course. Like most of the Phoenix Lords, Drastanta trained under Asurman, and alongside those that would become the Phoenix Lords, and just like the Phoenix Lords, he too would go on to found his own aspect warrior shrine, the Shining Spears.
Nice.
Yeah, so the Shining Spears focus on speed, precision, and brute force. Riding an Eldar jet bike and wielding a laser lance, they will appear where needed most, striking down all that stand before them.
I like these because it's very different.
Yeah.
You know, like it's everyone else kind of just has their own like infantry thing way of
Sure.
doing stuff, but this is like
A totally different way of doing
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
The killing strike. The perfect blow.
They know when. They know where.
they know how.
Oh yeah.
They don't know why.
Well,
Nobody knows why.
Jane Z Town, so why?
So here's something new. I don't think this one joins Jane's R.
Really?
No
Let's
way.
read what happens to.
Okay, so he came late to Asurman's final stand and found his mentor already fallen before the might of the Keeper of Secrets, Nikari. In a fit of rage, he slew the demon, the energies of the celestial lance shattering the creature's spirit. He then disappeared from the galaxy thereafter, leaving behind his celestial lance, which has been passed down over the generations to various craft worlds and Shining Spears shrines.
Wow. So he
It's
didn't
just not
appear.
confirmed that he helped Jane Z.
Yeah.
You know what?
He was just on a jet bike. He was so fast, no one actually sees
Yeah,
him.
it's not confirmed, but I assume he was there. unless it's expressly said he was not.
Yeah.
What I love about the fact that he disappeared is that even if he died, he's still going to show up for the Ranadandra.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because the Eldar, for some reason, everything just works out
Yeah.
for him.
yeah. Nothing but good times.
Exactly.
Nothing but good luck and easy sailing. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's cool that he actually left a weapon behind. All the other ones keep their war gear with them,
Yes.
but he actually, which it's like, did he
wasn't-
actually retire? I wonder.
I don't think,
maybe?
yeah.
Maybe he's not lost on the path anymore.
No, you're lost. Like, I think it's like a permanent, you're lost, oh, I see what you're doing there. You son of a bitch, you got me.
Yeah, the whole point of being lost on the path is
You're lost.
lost on yeah, the next one is called Aemon Harakekt, and he's the founder of the Eagle Pilot. So little else is known about this Phoenix Lord other than he founded the Eagle Pilot aspect warriors. Eagle pilots are masters of aerial combat, piloting the fastest and deadliest aircraft that the Eldar have available. This is fun. Aemon Harakekt translate into Low Gothic, which means fighter pilot. So fun.
Yeah. This is another of the very different
Yeah.
things, you know. He's like, I found that the best way to embody like Kane's spirit is from a fighter plane jet thing.
It'd be cool if they came out with like a tank one too.
Yeah, like a wave serpent
Yeah.
even, or
Yeah, exactly.
They could call it Tank
pilot. It's just the low Gothic translation. This is actually just someone's name, and they're literally like, you fly a plane? Your name must be fighter pilot.
That is and always will be my favorite excuse for anything being silly in 40K. Is just that's just what the humans thought,
Yeah.
and that's their explanation.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually mean
No,
fighter
it's
pilot. It's just
no.
that's the guy's name.
Hey, you want to name these Tau people after fish? Even though
Shoot,
they're
darn
clearly
tootin', I love
on,
that.
on a desert planet and they have hooves.
They have hooves.
They should really be goat people.
Yeah. Satyrs, maybe?
Ooh.
I mean,
I've never
They
seen
are
their legs
satyrs.
before, so maybe they're hairy. I don't know.
do they have to be hairy to be satyrs?
Well, I would imagine you would have to have actual goat legs,
Well, they have goat feet.
but where does it end? Is what I'm saying.
Keep going up the leg, and I'll tell you when. It is.
Higher. More. There, right there.
Right there. Right below the nips.
Well, I wanted human nipples.
Yeah. Mammalian nipples. Okay.
Next one.
The next one we have is Aura. So Aura is the fallen phoenix who burns with the dark light of chaos and is the founder of the striking scorpion shrine. He unfortunately turned to the side of the Dark Eldar after the fall of the Eldar and his battle with Karandras. He is believed to be the leader of the Incubi warriors of the Dark Eldar, but we'll talk more about him in the next episode.
Yeah, we're going to be doing an episode that includes Incubi, and there's some tie-ins, but we'll say no more.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot of stuff in Kimura, and so we'll
Yeah.
make sure we focus on Aura then.
Yeah.
So, because even though it's like believed, rumored, it's one of those like rumors that everyone kind of just accepts as truth.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. But, yeah,
But
we'll
yeah.
talk more about him in a bit. Yeah, so that was all of the Phoenix Lords. There are, however, some missing Phoenix Lords. So out of the 14 known Aspect Warriors, we don't know the Phoenix Lords of 4 of them. The Crystal Dragons, the Slicing Orbs and Sandros, and the Ebon Talon all have a disturbing lack of info on them. So disturbing that all we know is their names. So chances are good they do have Phoenix Lords and they're not actually lacking one. But we don't know.
I also wonder, because those are definitely newer aspects.
Yep.
And not as well known. I
Yeah.
wonder what it actually takes to be the Phoenix Lord of something, like
Trained by
I don't
even know if that would be the requirement because
Karandras technically wasn't
Is it-
trained by
yeah.
a Surman, he was trained by Aura.
yeah, and to be trained by a Surman makes you like the Asuria, not technically a Phoenix Lord. So
Yes, the and the Asuria was. I don't even think that it's a thing anymore. You can't
Yeah,
be
it's
an
It's
Asuria.
No.
it's more like it seems like you just reach a certain level. Or like you're engaged in some sort of like cataclysmic conflict or
Yeah,
it-
like what
it-
what
yeah, it seems like an
bestows like
acquired
the
status.
immortality though? Like
I honestly don't know. It's like I've read one thing that explained how someone else like entered it, but there's not a lot of information given on that turning point from when you were just a regular Exarch lost on your path to now you're a Phoenix Lord and you're capable of resurrecting yourself as soon as someone puts on your armor,
yeah,
There's obviously, and I think it kind of there has to be something cataclysmic that happens just to you or around you to like break you maybe and change and shape you into something different.
Yeah,
But-
because Ra lost a whole planet. In order
yeah,
or
exactly.
a whole
And
craft
he
world.
spent 500 years literally contemplating this, and
Yeah.
at some point he died, and then he found out he was a Phoenix Lord.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I wonder. I'm also there's definitely leaders of their shrines.
Sure.
But does that make them Phoenix Lords?
Yeah, probably not. Not
Right.
unless you have the ability to resurrect yourself.
yeah.
Because that's the whole Phoenix aspect.
And so I think, though, like following that vein, I think if
Yeah.
I was to create a new aspect warrior or an aspect shrine,
yeah,
I would probably lean more towards not creating a new Phoenix Lord,
yeah,
or maybe creating someone that, down the road might eventually turn into one, but not
yeah,
actually
yeah. You,
writing
you
that
want
there
to
was
leave
one.
that story like
Open-ended.
yeah, and like it's said that he grows more powerful each day or something like that. That like
Exactly.
teases like he's on the verge of Phoenix Lordhood,
Yeah, exactly.
or like he's tracked down and talked to Saruman, and you'd leave it like that.
Yeah, that would be a great one. Actually,
Yeah.
meeting a Surman and like,
Yeah.
or meeting like the other Phoenix Lords and everything, like joining their councils or something.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think that you need to understand these are Primarch level powerful people.
They're crazy
oh
good.
really?
yeah.
Like maybe not in physical strength, but what they mean to the people of the Eldar, and I think
Their-
what
their
they're capable
tactical
of.
knowledge, yeah, what they're capable of, yeah,
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
maybe in one-on-one, like it might be hard to tell sometimes who's better than who.
Oh
but
really? Oh, even that.
It's just like I think people don't give the Eldar enough credit in how powerful and everyone puts
Yeah.
Primarchs on way too big of a
Yeah.
pedestal.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think, to be fair, a lot of like these guys don't seem to do as like they don't seem to be as active.
So do
As
you
far
what do you
as,
think
like-
the reason is? Because we've shared that they've
I
seen
think it's-
countless battles, and you can't surprise them because they've seen everything there is to see.
I think it's just the way the lore is written,
Right.
Obviously, but
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't think it's unfair to say that the perception that the Primarchs are beasts is just because people think that. I think it's because of the way it's written.
Well, they're
Like-
written as beasts,
Yeah, they're written to
Right.
be the top.
but they're also written there's a lot of detail about their exploits.
That's what I mean.
And so you can say that yes, these are great, and you either accept that they're great, or now here's the 50 million examples we have of them being great.
Yeah, well,
So
like, I
then-
mean, if you read
sorry.
a story,
Just let me finish this, because then they give you the Phoenix Lords and they say these are great too, but we just don't have any of the stories. It doesn't mean they aren't great.
Yeah,
It just means that no one writes about them.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I just wanted to share that thought.
no,
Like,
it's just one of those things where you need people aren't immersed in the lore of the Eldar as much because
Yeah.
it doesn't get as much attention. So that perception comes out of that.
Yes, I agree, and I think that all I was trying to say is that like you should elevate your perspective of Phoenix Lords. 'Cause,
For sure.
Like I bet everyone who thinks about them is just like, oh, Jane Czar is just like another Eldar.
Yeah, well,
Exarch.
like what you said, that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that was a Phoenix Lord.
Exactly.
It's like that's like if somebody's like, oh, I didn't even realize when Boot Gilliman came out. Like, it's on the same tier essentially.
I agree, and I think that this has just caused me to shift
Yeah.
my understanding of like how crazy and amazing these guys are.
Like
you
they're
know?
killing greater demons and stuff by themselves.
And they're not even Grey Knights.
They're not even great.
I think part of that too, though, is like how unceremoniously that box came out.
Oh yes,
It just was like 1 week. Oh, the Phoenix Lords box came out. You're like, great.
here's a Phoenix Lord box and 3 Primaris Lieutenants. Thanks,
That-
CW.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it, right? Like, I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
your perception of how powerful someone is shaped by the way
Yeah.
Games Workshop releases their stuff or teases things out. That wasn't teased at all. People probably think more about Gazgul. That's the
Sure.
orc that came out,
Yeah,
right? Gazgul
Thraka.
Thraka. He came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's big." First of all,
He's beefy. He's mean.
he looks large.
Yeah.
He's a big model, and it was teased a little bit more. Whereas Jane Zaire, it was just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
a weird story too. That one, her book that came out with her.
With Yvraine and
yeah, it
Aeldari.
was a weird, just convoluted mess. It was
Well,
crazy.
Games Workshop is in the process of taking a look at all the stuff they'd written in kind of like the past couple of years and
Yeah.
maybe making some changes. So,
So far, it's been good.
Yeah.
What they've
Oh,
changed.
they've done
yeah.
some-
I didn't know that.
yeah. Right now, they've really just messing with the timeline, which is awesome.
oh, interesting. What I haven't heard anything
They've
about this.
shortened like the Indomitus Crusade is not over, and it's now only been 12 years since it began.
Oh, geez.
Doesn't that
huge
change
Okay.
everything?
Oh, okay.
It does.
My understanding was what they did was they wrote to the end of it, and then are now just filling in the details, though.
No,
Is
they're,
that not the
they're
way it is?
re-going. Okay, the article I saw said that they were going to re-release the novels with updated timelines, and that they were going to shorten. Honestly, like I think it's shitty for that you have to buy a new book if you want the updated version. But
It's
I
almost like
do
codexes.
think-
They're doing all books. You have to buy the book FAQ.
So, oh my god,
It's funny because it's true. You know they'll do it.
yes.
That's so funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just buy like a little book that says turn to page 84, scratch out 200 years, put in 1 year. Yeah. But
That's nice.
it totally makes sense, and this is kind of derailing, but like the fact that Primaris stuff is still being introduced into the world, instead of it now being 200 years, it's only been 12 years since Primaris was released, and so that's why it's taking so long for all these things to come out of production.
And that's why there's
and-
still so many firstborn kicking about.
Exactly. Yeah, they're saying there's still so many of the firstborn, which makes way more sense now, and
Yeah.
so everything is like makes way more sense now that they've shortened that timeline. I'm curious what they're going to do next. but-
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a Phoenix Lord
Yeah,
episode.
missing Phoenix Lord. So the last one we'll talk about, we've talked about 3 of the 4. The final one, the missing spider. There is no known Phoenix Lord for the warp spiders. However, some Eldari claim that the legendary Eldari warrior Lycosiade, known as the Race Spider, a legendary warrior renowned upon Craftworld K-lore, is the Phoenix Lord of the Warp Spiders. However, most other Eldari disagree with this superstition, though. They even cite, like, there's some timeline shenanigans, like, oh, he could be here when he's here, you know. But who knows? Maybe he is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, like any legend of the Phoenix Lords, like, it has to begin somewhere,
Yeah.
and like I guess you'll know if you kill him and he comes back.
Yeah.
So that'll be the ultimate test.
Yeah. And even if he was like a Phoenix Lord, like how would you go about convincing somebody? You've been gone for like 9,000 years, and now you're like, no, I'm the Phoenix Lord.
You'd
And
literally just have to die.
that would be the only way
Yeah.
to fully show.
I mean, others, maybe people in your shrine would believe you and
Sure.
like share that you are.
Oh,
but
yeah.
how do you really get rid of any doubt or skepticism?
Yeah.
Like you die and then you see them 800 years later on a different battlefield.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly. That's
so-
the only way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, the missing spider. Warp spiders
Very
don't
cool.
have one.
That's another model that could use an update.
Warp spiders, how dare you?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all the Phoenix Lords and stuff. There's some strong themes, perfect times to strike, so all that kind of goodness.
You know, there's less of it than I thought there would be.
Well, that's intentionally we wrote it that way, you know.
Wait, don't lead on that
yeah.
we now censor that from our show.
They know the perfect time to strike. You know it. We know it. They know it.
They know that you know that we know.
We all know.
All right. So the final thing we're going to talk about on this episode is the Asuriata, which we mentioned first, way back when, and the Ranadandra.
Yeah.
So the Phoenix Lords are mythical beings, you know. Much about them has been shrouded by time, lost to legend. Sometimes thousands of years will pass between sightings of a particular lord. And that's so cool to me, first of
Yeah.
all. Like, it's been like 6,000 years since your like Phoenix Lord has been seen, but you believe that he's alive because
Yeah.
he's a goddamn Phoenix Lord.
Yeah.
Anyways, seeing as how important they are to the Eldar survival, there have been many books written about them, but the book about the Phoenix Lords is the Asuriata.
And this is like in-universe book. The
Yes,
book
sorry.
in-universe that has been written.
This is written by an Eldar faction.
Yeah.
So the Asuriata is an epic Eldar legend of the Phoenix Lords. It's recited in full once each generation by the mystical order of poets known as the Bards of Twilight. And the story features many important parables and teachings. The Eldar use it as a text like guiding principles to inform their day-to-day activities and military actions. It kind of just
Day-to-day activities.
Honestly-
What would Mag and Ra do?
yeah, it's like the musings of Maugan Ra, the benevolence of Baharoth, and it's just like sharing their stuff. I just imagine someone following Maugan Ra, and he like shares like, you must be willing to sacrifice an exarch to get to your goal, and the scribe is writing it, and he's like, maybe just cross that one out.
Maybe we don't do that.
Yeah, maybe we don't.
You know
include
how
that
we're a
one.
dying race, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the Mahabharata or like the Ramayana or something.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a book of teachings from these Phoenix Lords, but it also details their stories. And I'm assuming that a lot of these legends are actually listed in this book.
Yeah.
Whether or not, you accept them as infallible fact or as legends change through time is up to you.
Yeah.
So the Asuriata doesn't just talk about the past, though. It also predicts the future and talks about the Ranadandra, which is like predicts the destruction of the Eldar and the remaining gods. It's essentially their Ragnarok,
Yeah.
the Ranadandra.
Yeah.
It said that the battle will destroy both the materium and the immaterium, the end of everything, really.
Which would mean the end of chaos, so. Which is Eldar's
Hopefully.
goal. Hopefully, yeah.
The Phoenix Lord Fugan is said to be the one who will call the other Phoenix Lords together for the final battle and will be the last to die in the fighting, while Phoenix Lord Baharoth will also die his final death. So I'm pretty sure that if the Materium and the Immaterium disappeared,
No. Just Baharoth will suffer his final death. The other
okay,
Phoenix
okay.
Lords will
Yeah, that's
resurrect in
confusing.
the blackness of the void.
this is myth, right?
Right.
Like it's legend,
Yeah.
and who knows? But so one of the weird things about this is that Fugan sounds like they're like a leader almost in that case. Like he's the one that will call them all together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe like I
Because
like.
he's like the one of like ultimate destruction.
Yeah,
and-
he's the one forging the chain across
Yeah.
the galaxy.
Yeah.
So
to
maybe
trap the dragon.
Right.
Does it say that they're fighting something other than themselves? Maybe they're fighting. Maybe he's trying to destroy everything, and everyone else is fighting him.
the Ranadandra. No, it's the final battle between Chaos and the Materium, right? Did I get that?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A different take on the Ranadandra resides at the heart of the Black Library. So there's a crystal tome bound with chains of light that rests on an obsidian plinth. As fabled events came to pass, those chains faded one by one until the tome opened shortly before the opening of the Great Rift. Quick side note, a lot of those chains actually disappeared with the Black Crusades.
Oh, really?
Fucking love the Black
That's
Crusades,
cool.
man. Yeah, honestly, Abaddon, one of the coolest people in the entire galaxy. Anyways, so revealed within this white tome were writings said to have been written by Segorak himself, telling of a final act that changed utterly the tale of the fall. Instead of the Ranadandra, the final act tells of Segorak's ultimate jest that would trick Slaanesh into expending all of their energies to save the Eldar instead of destroying them. How such an event could come to pass remains unclear. So there's a lot of myth and legends surrounding the Phoenix Lords,
Yeah.
whether it's their origins, whether it's their activities, or even the future.
Yeah. It's so interesting too that they have mythos. Like it's weird. Like they're futuristic. Like they don't have to worry about anything. Like
They don't have. It's not like they don't lack ways of writing down information.
yeah,
and
they
keeping
can
tabs.
literally talk to their ancestors still, like
Yeah.
people who would have been there. But yeah, like the mythos still kind of runs through it all.
Yeah, and there's that air of mystery
Yeah.
that kind of surrounds it. So
I really like things like those two stories we had, where it gives the world a little bit more like. It doesn't answer any questions, but it only creates questions.
Yes.
And they're cool things like they allow you so much room to like the world feels so much more real, because in real life you don't know all the answers to all the questions. You don't know all the lore bits. Like they don't
Yeah.
need to go back and make they make the Solo movie to like fill in the blanks, but in real life there is no filling in the blanks. You
Yeah.
don't know all the answers. And
Right.
that when they do things like this in the lore where it's like, oh, maybe at the end
Yeah.
this will go this way, maybe it'll go that way, and you'll never know.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's always cool. It's like, oh, maybe I prefer to think it'll happen this way, and you can. I don't know. That's so
I love
much
it.
better. That's good story. That's good universe building
Yeah.
when they do stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
It's
Yeah.
good setting building,
Yes.
right? It helps.
It's
make,
good sandbox building.
That's right. Good Minecraft building.
Oh, okay.
I totally agree. It only serves to flesh out. It leaves
Yeah.
things unanswered so you can fill in your own things, right? So I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. So
Anything else about Phoenix Lords?
there's a couple things I want to do.
Okay.
I really like Margan Ra's like his craft world that comes out. That'd be so cool to do an army for. Whether you like
Yes.
paint them so they're like actually like ghost looking, like think like how you paint like the Lord of the Rings Army of the Dead, like that eerie green.
Yeah, you just like do white and then get like that
Right.
wash on them.
Yeah,
You know
dude.
what would be a cool way of doing that is if you cast the army, like recast it, and then use like a clear plastic.
Ooh, yeah.
That might be cool too if you did
Rusty
something
boy.
like that.
And then you wouldn't even have to paint.
Well, you still wash it in that green so that there's like deep recesses of
Yeah.
green in
Yeah.
this, and it still like pops
Ah.
the shadow.
It could be so cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to go around the table and say who's your favorite Phoenix Lord?
Do you have a favorite, Rio?
Just let's look at
Yeah, let
pictures
me
even.
let me go back and look at it.
Boop, 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 boop. Karandros. Illurilale.
I love his like his
Yuga.
long face mask, Earliths.
Yeah.
It's like very long. Everyone else's kind of just has that
James
mouthpiece.
I mean, honestly, Jane Zara I think is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
she-
her backstory's cool.
Backstory's cool. The model's cool.
Yeah.
Her weapons are so interesting. How
Yeah.
she would fight would be so interesting.
Yeah, she was literally raised as a gladiator. Like
So cool.
yeah.
I like Fugan, but just because I have a dragon fetish, you know.
You like Vulcan.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
that fire theme.
Yeah, on my suit of armor I have a dragon painted. It just
Yeah. I like Fugan too. I like how he just feels so like solid.
sure.
You know, everything about him. So
Yeah. That one's cool too. Gorillas. James, do you have a favorite?
Here's the thing. I actually like a
James, we
lot.
just asked you your favorite one.
I just like. I actually like a lot of them.
Yeah.
I like Fuegan. I like the
Fugan.
Fuegan. I'll bet you anything that's probably intentional. I think that's.
I
Yeah,
don't
fire is
know.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Games Workshop is not known for doing weird wordplay like that.
anyway, I like him. I like the what was the striking scorpion guy? again?
Karandras.
Yeah, I really like him. Jane Czar is really cool as well. I think there's some flops in there too. Like I think what's the main guy? His is
Asurman?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of dull.
Yeah.
He is dull.
And even, like,
I
his-
agree with that.
The art isn't really like he's cool, but he's just kind of flat.
He's just he's like the generic embodiment.
He's the Gilliman.
yeah.
Yeah,
group.
exactly. He's what everyone should be, and then he's like the most. What am I trying to say?
The
He's the
ideal.
middle of the road
Yeah,
one.
he's the ideal.
Yeah.
He's like
It's the all-rounder.
exactly yes,
Yeah.
the all-rounder, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
Master of all, actually, still.
Sorry,
he still
master
knows the
of all,
perfect time to
but
strike.
not as master as all the other Phoenix Lords.
Yeah, so I'd say actually I wish I'd be excited if they were to like dive into Phoenix Lords more because I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit more creativity. They're not all known. You can make up ones. They don't necessarily. It's not like Primarchs where there's a set number. You could have a new one pop up out of
Absolutely.
nowhere.
I would like to see more actually. That'd
Yeah,
be really
so
interesting.
I really like a good chunk of them. I think the Shining Spears guy is a little bit
Yeah.
dull as well.
I think that if someone gave him some attention, as with almost
Yeah.
all of these things,
Well, that's
Sure.
the thing. I'm sure none of these guys have lore has changed in the last 25 years except
That's-
for Jane Czar.
yeah.
So-
And all of them at the very end. That
Right,
they
where now
joins
they're with Jane
Czar. But
Either way, I really like a good chunk of them. I'd say about
Nice.
half of them are really solid, cool, like things I'd want to get the model for. Like
Yeah.
obviously Jane Czar, I would want that model. It's super cool. I'd love to paint that. And so like if they gave new models, I'd probably get them just for fun. Just because I like
Well, you're the perfect consumer.
yep.
yeah.
A good little
I'm not
boy.
gonna buy Ass Man, but I'll probably buy some of the other ones if they came out with new models.
I actually built a list maybe like a year and a half ago now when I was debating doing an Eldar army.
Yeah.
And and a story, and it only revolved around Maugan Ra
Yeah.
and Dark Reapers, and it was about this story of
And the meta. And,
You know,
chasing that. meta.
in all truth, I had no idea about the med. I did it. So I built this list and I sent it to Mark, and it was just like full of Dark Reapers and like tanks. And Mark's like, "That's like a really good list." And I was like, "Is it though?" Like,
Yes.
first of all, it's me.
Yes.
So then, yeah, I sent it to James and Nathan, and they're like, "That's a dirty list." But yeah, the story was just around this. I loved the idea of him just watching his world slowly burn and like what that did to him. And so now the story was that he just goes to these places where their world is burning, and he's like, I've been here before, like, you know what, it's gonna burn, but let's do as much damage on the way out as possible.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect. And
But Megan Ra, we can't revive like you.
yeah, he's like, don't worry, we've got this. He's dying over and over again.
People just keep getting sucked into his armor as he dies. He keeps running into the middle of the battle.
With his scythe.
Stop!
They're
Stop!
like,
You have this weapon. Shoot it.
he's like, executioner.
I am the Reaper. I am the
scythe.
Reaper.
Harvest.
Skulls.
Yeah, I like Maugan Ra. He's my boy.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Phoenix Lords. That's
Cool.
nice.
Well, I hope you guys. First of all, thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
James, Rio.
That was
I hope,
a fun one, yeah.
Yeah, I hope you guys learned some things, and I hope you listeners learn some things and share our love of all things Xenos.
Yeah. if you got your own aspect shrine that you've been working on, send it to us. Let us know. Do you have a Phoenix Lord? How would you do a Phoenix Lord? Send us a message.
Yeah,
Love to
very,
hear what
very
you're up to.
cool. Before we actually log off and say sayonara, though, we are going to take a moment to thank all of our new Patreon Imperial Tithe members, because it's been a minute and we actually have a lot of new people. So first off, thank you to Jake, Logan, naked homeless guy who yelled at you, Vorotillian, Franz Ferdinand, Micah,
He's back.
Ben. Wait, he was never actually killed. Ben, Ty, Greg, Bradley, Kevin, Ben, Cultist of Saul, Alex, Michael, Nathan, Surgeon Parade, Hugh.
What do some of these names mean?
I don't know.
Surgeon Parade, why?
You know what? Surgeon Parade, you should message Mark.
I need an answer.
Tell him why you named yourself Surgeon Parade. Hugh, James, Richard, Aaron, Frederico, Hayden, Yen, Griffin, Eric, Elijah, Tim, Tankor, Jason, Captain Vampire.
I think actually it's Captain Vampire.
Captain Vampire!
Yeah, he's a superhero, so give him the respect it's due, please.
Taylor, Cameron, Lorgar Aurelian.
The only good thing he's ever done. Donated to our Patreon. That's nice.
Matthew, Simon, Clone, Royale, Taco, Isaac, Keith, Glenn. Wow.
Wow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Honestly,
you
thank you so much. That's
so much for contributing and supporting the show.
Yeah. We put your money to use.
Paying James.
No.
James
Yeah.
needs a highly skilled legal team at all times.
I do. Like
Yeah, we have a
amou-
retainer just for James.
the amount of trouble I get in. I have HR. Like HR has me on speed dial. That's how it is.
James, either you did it or you know who did it.
I'm not even gonna lie. Legitimately at work, every HR problem that's happened since I've been there has involved me somehow.
James, you're a model employee.
To be fair, that's not a lot, but I've been there.
But
I've been
is
around
more than
them,
none.
So.
You
Yeah.
know?
You have an instant increase on any other person there. So
Yeah, well, okay. To be fair, it's me and this other guy I've been involved, but like I've been around most of them, so
maybe if you just wore proper pants when you had your work meetings, James, this wouldn't be an issue.
that wouldn't. It's normally not a problem. I just point the camera up, but
But when you went up
Sometimes
and
it
got a glass
falls.
of water that one time.
yeah, buck naked.
Joys and dangers from working at home.
Yeah. Well, let's give this episode a big old farewell.
And a round of applause, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, quite. Oh yes, indeed.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Oh, bye.